Welcome. This is Laura Rose from Rose Coaching, and the intent behind these series of webinars is to share strategies and tips on how to not only recover from the COVID-19 shutdown, but perhaps even come out of it with some new skills and knowledge. Today, I'm here with Travis Marshall from Mark Thomas Media, Michelle Doffinger from Triangle Social Media, and Greg.cory from CTO Nation. Today's topic centers around how the COVID-19 epidemic has altered the buyer's journey map. The buyer's journey is a marketing term that identifies how businesses normally attract, convert, close, and deliver products and services. The buyer's journey map outlines how businesses can educate potential clients about their products, how they would normally convert a visitor to an actual sales lead, how they normally close a deal, how they would deliver the product, and how they would continually follow up with the client with exceptional and personable customer support. Pre-COVID-19, merchants used various consumer live events like trade shows, boat shows, home expos, flea markets, concerts, dance clubs, movie theaters, sidewalk cafes, local shops, and malls to attract new consumers. Businesses networked and prospected through business events, community centers, churches, and sports events. Deals were closed with a handshake and in-person demonstrations. Customers would travel to take ownership of their daily purchases, enjoy their hobbies and other entertainment live and in person. At the end of the day, people would do more business with people they know, like, and trust. And these various and personal contact points greatly increased the trust between the sales team and the consumer. Today, the COVID-19 stay-at-home situation has changed how consumers learn about, locate, and purchase their merchandise and assets. Consumers no longer have that personal touch to assist with the purchase. Building that trust between the buyer and the seller is much harder. The buyer's journey roadmap has changed dramatically. It has accelerated the integration of virtual and augmented reality technology into every aspect of the buyer's journey, from how we business network, prospect leads, educate consumers, interact with buyers, and deliver the product. In today's market, businesses must find alternative ways to connect, interact, and build that trust with their potential clients and consumers. But before we go into more detail, I would like our guests to tell us a little more about themselves. Travis, tell us about yourself.
Hey, my name is Travis Marshall. I am COO and co-founder of Mark Thomas Media. We're a full-service advertising agency, so we can take a project from beginning to end and make it all look the same on digital, search engine marketing, search engine optimization, social media, production, radio, TV, the full nine. So that's who Mark Thomas Media is, and that's who I am.
That's great. And Michelle, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Michelle Doffinger, and I own Triangle Social Media. And basically, I help business owners three ways. I do platform management with any social media platform. And I also do coaching, either one-on-one or in group sessions. And then I hold workshops in my area where I live, Raleigh, North Carolina, as well as now virtually anywhere.
Great. And that takes us to Greg.
Yep. I'm greg.cory. I've got a company, CTO Nation. We provide technology, strategy, and product management services on demand. So we work with small and medium-sized businesses that are really trying to define their technology roadmap 3 and 5 years into the future and how it will affect their business.
Excellent, excellent. And my name is Laura Rose, and I help busy professionals and entrepreneurs create effective systems so that they can comfortably delegate to others, be more profitable, and have the time to do the things they really want to be doing, even if they don't have the time to learn new technology or train their staff. So I have a knack for taking complex concepts and turning them into on-time and profitable projects. I am currently working with different small businesses on their marketing strategies through market research, brand monitoring, and social media content. Now that we have the introductions out of the way, let's get down to the topic at hand. Travis, since we've been talking about the buyer's journey and your expertise in specifically in sales, what kind of consumer behaviors are you noticing?
Gotcha. Well, when COVID first came out and the stay-at-home order was set in place, everybody kind of just shut down, and they weren't necessarily searching the same. There wasn't as much website traffic to our clients' pages. People were more concerned with getting toilet paper and figuring out what was going on. So you could definitely see that in the activity online. And then about the April 15th, for every single client that we have, we noticed a spike in website traffic, kind of getting back to not necessarily normal levels, but you can see about twice as much traffic from the 15th to the end of April as it was the previous 30-day period. So, our team thinks it's, I think a lot of people were getting their stimulus checks then, and then I think a lot of people also were just they have to go on, like life has to go on. So now as it stands, May seems to be well. Everybody, a lot of places are opening now in different phases. So people are getting back to their normal behaviors. We just had Memorial Day, that's typically a big furniture holiday, car holiday. Out of the gate, it doesn't look like we necessarily had a big spike in Memorial Day per se, but I still have to look into that more. But overall, May is looking good, and it's promising as far as business owners are concerned with how people are going to be spending their money and shopping.
Right. So how have businesses needed to change or alter in order to adapt during this time?
So the number one thing that all of our clients are doing, and we're huge advocates of it, is just being very vocal about what you're doing about COVID, right? On your website, all over the place, on social media, all over the place, make a lot of the content about that. I'm not saying 100%, but you have to say, hey, we're cleaning. We have a scheduled hour. Every hour we're cleaning. There's private appointments available. Remember that. Where there's extra hand sanitizer, whatever it is that your business is doing, you just have to be very vocal because it's a really captive audience. Like, people are watching more screens now than ever. And previously on social media, they checked it 13 times a day, Facebook alone, but now I'm sure that's up to like 30. So the more you're saying that, and the more you're being sensitive to and giving an option to people that are concerned about COVID, that's the biggest thing that you have to do.
So have you seen any marketing strategies or campaigns in particular with higher than usual response or engagement?
Yes. So social media retargeting is through the roof right now. It's killing it. A lot of website traffic, and it's very affordable. And then I've also seen engagement with businesses that are providing something back to the community, whether it's essential employees, essential workers, first responders, those people. I had a client that we had a social distancing virtual pizza party, and they offered to buy. It was just a post. We didn't put any ad spend behind it or anything. They offered to buy all essential employees a pizza, and on that one day that they were having it, their members from their staff delivered the pizzas. And I'll tell you what, Laura, that just a post that reached over 13,000 people and was shared 175 times. So when it comes to people, were very responsive to being sensitive and thankful for people that are having to work right now and not stay at home.
And that was a fantastic and innovative thing for that company to do. And I'm sure your company had a big hand in creating and crafting that message. That was awesome.
Yeah, it just kind of happened. We don't know where the ideas really come from. You just start talking about it, all of a sudden you find yourself down this rabbit hole. But it's a good idea, and got a lot of response.
I'm glad that worked out. And Michelle, this kind of leads directly into your area of expertise as a social media expert. So how have you had to pivot your business to do something different during this time?
Well, of course, a lot of virtual events and meetings, interviews, etc. had already been doing video, but definitely pushed and challenged myself and in turn my clients to do more video, because you have to maintain good communication. And so, however you were doing it before, the phone calls can continue, obviously, and other sources of communication, but to maintain strong communication, I feel like video is the best. It's really the best thing, not just for one-on-one, meetings, but also in your content sharing on your platform. So it's, I've seen, everyone has seen a spike in, video content and networking, both.
Absolutely. And I know if people are like me, they're a little bit shy to get in front of that camera. So I know that's probably one thing that business owners are doing differently, but what are some of the other things that business owners are doing differently to adjust to this?
Well, depending on the industry, for example, you've seen the restaurants, doing the curbside pickup and delivery, and the Uber and Lyft drivers have been very busy during this time. So it really depends on the industry and how you're able to pivot if you can. Some businesses had to completely pause because, their business involved going into a home. That was the case with one of my clients, and they can't go into the home to refinish their bathtub if, they can't go into the home. So for that type of business, contracting work, they would be open to like vacant homes. So whatever strategies they could, pivot to, but that wasn't so prevalent. And it did definitely affect their business temporarily. And I think as things open up, they'll be able to resume and hopefully catch up. Yeah. But I've heard of some restaurants closing for good, even in spite of the curbside and pickup. So really it depends on what you do and how you normally service your clients and how you're able to pivot. So, communication is key. And if you're able to communicate virtually and provide the service, if you're a service-based company, then it's a lot easier. Product-based, you can still deliver, you can still ship. But, I've seen a lot of creativity. I've seen, just people really being challenged to think outside the box and come up with ideas that enable them to not just stay open, but, pay their employees. And that's besides the government programs and loans and, the paycheck guarantee and all that. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. One of my clients is actually a gym, the Curves Gym, and they're having a very tough time because the gyms are not allowed to be opened on phase 2. So yeah. I've been working one-on-one with the owner there to, as you mentioned, pivot. There are a lot of things we can do in the club. We just can't be a gym. So we're opening up to nutrition programs, health and wellness, lesson learns, and items like that. And also trying to get her in front of the camera, just as you recommend. So like you said, really pivoting. So how do you see these things moving forward as we reopen in stages?
Well, I really see the virtual and video usage staying strong. I think people have gained a lot of skill, and it's definitely true that people who are a little shy before the camera, which is, I think most people that, even in the past, it's one of the things I coach my clients on is to do video content. And most of the time they're very hesitant unless they happen to be just, very outgoing and comfortable. But most of the time that wasn't the case. And I think a lot of people have gotten over that hump, and they've gotten those skills, and that they're now comfortable. If they were already comfortable, they're doing awesome now. And so that's one aspect of just the comfort level, right? Public speaking skills, and, besides the things you learn as far as technology wise, the lighting and the angle and the camera and, all that stuff. But besides the point, I think that just using video, it makes sense. And so while I, for one, look forward to in-person meetings again, I think virtual is going to stay strong depending on how you can use it. So for me personally, I do coaching, social media coaching, so I can do that virtually. And the other benefit to that is I can send my client the recording of it. And so instead of having to take notes, it might be easier for them to refer back to, especially if they're a visual learner. So yeah, I think that depending on your industry and your business and how you've used video, I think that is going to be a very strong component. And then we've seen the different platforms increase their security and perfect their interfaces, and just they were also pushed forward to do better, right? So now Zoom is better, StreamYard or other platforms, and so and I'm sure they've been making a lot of money during this time as well.
So that helped them out. And this leads us right to Greg. We've been talking about customer behavior and how businesses need to pivot and adjust, but in terms of supporting technology. So Greg, what are some of the critical tools or technology that you foresee being imperative in a post-COVID business strategy?
Well, there's 3 areas that I've talked to my clients about pretty consistently. Everybody's got problems in these same areas. The first is to keep selling. So even particularly now when people aren't in the stores, they've had to rely more on e-commerce, on the curbside delivery through and using mobile apps, things like that. That's not going to go completely back to normal after this. So keeping selling using all the online channels. There's an omni-channel approach where you really can distribute your sales efforts across a lot of different mediums, social media and others online. So that's first, you have to keep your business going with sales and revenue. The second bucket is usually around document management. And this is a broad area, but can range from getting off of paper. A lot of procurement departments still have paper. They're still getting paper invoices from their vendors. They're still potentially sending out paper invoices for their services. And so moving to more of a digital procurement cycle and technologies around that is going to improve their business in terms of collectibles and payables. There's also the other part of document management is just around versioning and signatures using something like DocuSign or any of the tools like that to execute contracts and the whole document management lifecycle, if you will, around those things. That affects sales teams as well that are dealing with getting RFPs out and things like that. So the whole document management area is an important one, shifting away from paper entirely.
Yeah, that goes hand in hand with that touchless sales experience with the contracts and everything. So how do you recommend an organization communicate their technology initiatives or issues through their different departments?
Well, I think, so many times in the past, you get an email from your IT department saying, here's some changes that are coming. It's a monthly or a weekly email, and people just really don't pay attention to those. So this really requires a top-down strategy. It requires your C-level suite to be getting on live webinars, getting on these, maybe they're sending out these communications so that the entire employee base understands this is coming from top down. It's not John in IT that's, pushing a new technology or changing the password, policy, something like that. That this is really a C-suite driven initiative. There's a lot of investment in it. The business depends on the investment working out.
And the top level has to lead by example. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So how can a business pivot quickly to stay successful in these unsettling times?
Well, the easiest way with technology is really to launch pilots, right? If you find products that, as you identify issues that your business is struggling with, identifying technologies that may solve it, certainly talking to your peers in other businesses that are dealing with similar issues, and then piloting a software. If there's something that seems to identify a solution, try it with a small group of your employee base, let them run it for a few weeks and get familiar with it, and then they become champions of that product. If it works out, they become champions of that to the rest of the employee base. A particular area that I see in that is collaboration tools. The one thing that people are missing in working from home is that impromptu whiteboarding session where some great ideas come out of that. And so moving that type of interaction to online tools, there are some really good whiteboarding tools, just using shared documents now that you can pretty much replicate the environment, but that's got to be something that you trial and error with. So running pilots, giving them a chance to work, tracking the results so you can actually give some metrics back to your employees that, here are the results of it, here's the benefits, here's the cons we saw, and then having the product champions to help communicate the message.
Yeah, that's very important, those pilots and the collaboration, because as we move more into a diverse and distributed work environment, how does a company improve or create that workplace community feeling when everybody's everywhere? So these are great recommendations, and I appreciate all this. And this actually kind of leads into what I wanted to do as a wrap-up. So in this COVID-19 stay-at-home restrictions, all these companies that continue to do business during this time, they, like Michelle was saying, had to find a way to pivot to a more virtual sales experience. With web conferences and Zoom and live streaming events, they became the normal way of life. And people are spoiled now. I mean, it takes about 30 days to grow into a new habit, and COVID-19 has lasted longer than 30 days. So they've become accustomed to these virtual sales experiences. And like Michelle was saying, restrictions are being released in phases. So these strategies aren't going to go away anytime soon. So we're going to continue to see these virtual sales and delivery systems. We're going to continue to see online and virtual meetings. The companies are going to need to stay up to date. They need to blend the traditional and virtual sales experience into their operations. They've got to work with people like Greg and Travis and Michelle to keep these experiences in their day-to-day operations. Employees are going to need to stay up to date with these virtual and augmented reality technologies as well if they want to stay relevant in today's job market. So I currently have a cheat sheet that outlines a list of careers that will always be in demand. But not only that, but it will also help you keep your skills viable regardless of the industry that you're in. I also have a market and client attraction workbook, and that covers the new technologies and strategies within this realm. So if you'd like a copy of either of these, send me an email at laura@lauralerose.com. And I also will be on a talk show, the Business Talk Radio, next Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Christopher Roberts and I will be talking about this very same topic. So please tune in if you can. So this is coming to the end of our time together. I wanted to thank Travis, Michelle, and Greg for sharing their time and expertise with us. So let's go around the room one more time to see if anyone has any last-minute thoughts on the subject. So Travis.
So the only thing I'll say, and we're all in this together, right? And I get the sense that from everybody, you know, vendors and partnerships and things that we have. But the one thing that you can do, you can be in charge of your effort and you can be in charge of your attitude. So as long as those two things are at the forefront of everybody as we all work together and try to get through this, then it will get back to normal. And I think we can all come out thriving as a result. So effort and attitude, and it'll all work out.
Excellent. And Michelle, any last minute thoughts?
Just keep growing strong, moving forward. The video, I just encourage you to continue doing video and providing value through teaching. Whatever your business is, you have elements of education you can offer, and just break those up into small segments and put it out there, and that will increase your reach and just help your business overall. Excellent.
And Greg?
Yeah, I look at this as an opportunity to do some spring cleaning. Any business that's been around for maybe more than 3 years, certainly those businesses that have been around 10, 15 years have some legacy business processes and technologies that they just refuse to let go of or are scared to let go of. And so taking this opportunity to do some spring cleaning and really reimagine the business with some better business processes and the supporting technologies in the end may really spring you into some better business successes. So.
Excellent, excellent. So I want to thank you, everybody, for your inspiring and encouraging thoughts. Until next time, this is Laura Rose from Rose Coaching. Please stay safe, healthy, and happy. See you out there.